My name is Adaolisa. I was born in a small village near the mouth of the Niger River, in the land of the Bight of Biafra. As a child, my world was the river, forest, and our family's humble hut. My father fished, my mother made pottery. We were poor, but life was peaceful. That all changed when the slavers came. I was playing by the river, looking for skipping stones, when I heard screams from the village. Men with guns were rounding up my people, binding them in chains. My parents tried fleeing with me, but we were captured. The slavers brutalized my father when he resisted. We were marched for days through dense jungle to the coast. Many grew ill and died along the brutal journey. Seeing the slave ships when we reached the sea, I understood the horror ahead. Their immensity and stench overwhelmed me. Crammed into the hold with hundreds of other captives, the conditions were nightmarish. Little food or water, barely any air, forced to lay in filth. The cries of anguish and groans of the ill and dying still haunt me. The ocean crossing felt like eternity, but lasted 6 horrific weeks. In the New World, plantation owners evaluated us like livestock to be sold. I was torn from my parents, never seeing them again. My new life was unending labor in the fields and horrific punishments for any infractions. I worked from dawn until after sunset under the brutal sun, always hungry and exhausted. If I dared rest, the overseer's whip lashed my flesh, leaving agonizing wounds and scars. The threat of violence was their method for subjugating us into productivity. More devastating than the physical cruelty was the calculated stripping of our humanity. Our languages, customs, and names were forbidden. My new name came from my sailor receipt, Ada. At night after the grueling work, I gazed at the stars seeking the constellations from home. Memories of my village, parents, and mother's lullabies were all I had left to remind myself I was human. Decades passed in this cyclical torment of unending labor and dehumanization. Children torn from mothers, elders beaten or left to die when feeble, loved ones severed upon every sail. It seemed it would never end. Until one day, a spark ignited within me, an unstoppable yearning for freedom transcending any fear of retribution. No amount of subjugation could extinguish that inner ember. I saw a young man savagely whipped for attempting escape, his lashes so deep they exposed bone. Yet he uttered, "Better than living as chattel." Those words stirred the sleeping lion in me. That night I ran. I ran through the cotton fields, the husks cutting my skin. Ran through the woods, branches tearing at my flesh. Bleeding but feeling no pain, the only driving thought was, freedom or death. Finally, I reached the beach where I first stepped ashore in chains 40 years before. The moon's glow shimmered on the waves, my only path to liberation. As the slavers' dogs closed in, I plunged into the shadowy depths. The frigid waters devoured me as I fought the punishing currents. The dogs' howls faded as salt water filled my lungs. I chose to drown rather than remain enslaved another day. But as I slipped into death's cold embrace, a force stronger than the sea's grasp yanked me back. I surfaced, eyes wide in shock. Towering before me was the most dazzling yet terrifying vision. A colossal figure glistening like polished onyx in the moonlight. Radiant feminine curves rising over 5 times higher than any human. Olokun, I cried out. It was the great Lord Lady of the ocean itself from my people's legends. This powerful Orisha rules the depths, marine life, and all the mysteries and riches concealed beneath the waves. In our cosmology, Olokun transcends the gender binary, shape-shifting between realms as fluidly as water through cupped hands. I was overcome with awe and holy dread before its magnificence. Suddenly, massive eyes opened within Olokun's glimmering form to gaze upon me. In that moment, it witnessed every torment I endured under the slave master's lash. The entity had seen those accursed ships ferrying my ancestors into bondage from its vast oceanic domain. My back split open, but instead of blood, pearls, diamonds, and gold poured forth, Olokun's treasures connecting me to this mighty being. I felt my form transforming, shape-shifting into something new. My legs fused into a shimmering jewel-toned tail. Gills appeared to breathe the waters. Webbing sprouted between my fingers to propel me. I was reborn from the depths as one of Olokun's daughters, a merfolk denizen of the undersea realm, finally liberated from humanity's cruelties. You are now one with the sea. Olokun's voice resonated like thunder and bubbling brooks simultaneously. For as long as you desire, explore my domain and bear witness to its wonders. Then the great deity slipped back under the inky surface, leaving me to discover my new existence. I exulted in my power and grace, propelling myself effortlessly through the vast waters. I journeyed to Olokun's shimmering underwater kingdom, a celestial realm of indescribable splendor, populated by bewildering entities, sentient currents, elementals shaped of coral, whales etched with cosmic runes, and countless other ineffable marvels. I learned to shapeshift into any ocean creature. As a whale, I plunged to the deepest rifts. As a dolphin, I surfed upon the swells and arced into the air. In my snake form bejeweled with ruby scales, I infiltrated a slave ship to inspire an uprising and lead the captives to freedom on a remote shore. Over the decades that followed, I became a legend among escaped captives and maroons living in hidden communities, appearing as a haunting mermaid spirit using the ocean currents to ferry runaways to safety. I helped liberate thousands through trickery and sabotage, whipping up storms to wreck ships, haunting the sailors' dreams to demoralize them, then guiding any who survived safely to shore as a shimmering cloud of jewel-colored rays. In my most alluring human-like form, I would seduce and beguile plantation heirs to reveal their secrets and liberal proclivities to breed chaos and runaways. After passion's throes, I would reveal my terrifying yet beautiful form, scales and all. In the 1790s, my mermaid kin and I were pivotal to the Haitian Revolution. We sowed confusion in the French ranks through furious storms and whispered words of insurrection into every rebel's soul. When Haiti's independence was finally achieved, I emerged before the rejoicing masses in my complete supernatural glory, flanked by aquamarine mermaids and ethereal kelp-haired undines. We serenaded the new freemen with celestial anthems of resilience and rebirth. Ever since, my mermaid sisters and I have guarded Haiti's waters. Any invaders are met with haunting songs, luring them onto jagged reefs and a terrible watery demise beneath my colossal kraken form. I bore witness to colonizers' continued oppression against my African descendants across centuries. During the climate crises, I channeled my rage through the Atlantic tides, inundating coastal cities built on slave economies' wealth, pulling their gleaming facades into the crushing depths as titanic leviathans. But to descendant freedom's fighters, I offer protection as a nurturing whale guide through tempests and as living coral reef havens rising from the rising seas. Through whale song, I share the ancient ocean's wisdom with any maintaining sacred traditions. I know this wondrous, interconnected ocean remains the eternal source from which all existence emerged and shall return. Just as my people ultimately transcended slavery's horrific depths, so shall all of existence be reborn anew through Olokun and the nurturing primordial waters. Until that liberation, my merfolk clan and I shall ever remain vigilant, safeguarding those seeking dignity and respect for Mother Earth while banishing any disturbing the balance until true equality and peace washes over all shores. That's it for this video, folks. Be sure to subscribe to our channel Pigtails for more stories like this one. Leave a comment letting us know what stories you'd like to see come to life. Don't forget to like and subscribe for new African tales and fables every week.